All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the 13th Fleet After Action Report. I am happy to have you here, and we are also happy to let you know that we are sponsored by Admiral Tater Ship Shop. If you want some of the absolute best in Armada accessories, reach out to Admiral Tater Ship Shop. You're going to find some great stuff. He also does some custom work, so if there's some stuff that you don't see on his page, ask him about it. He might be able to do that for you too. As far as what we've got going on tonight, big show. I did actually get to do a promo for it, and unfortunately, last week didn't work out because of an emergency. Fortunately, my friend is okay, so happy to report on that. We'll talk more about what's coming up in the schedule a little bit later on, but since we've got so much to talk about, I want to just go ahead and jump right in and get the crew with me here. We've actually got the whole band back together, don't we?
This is
We're
awesome.
back, baby.
Everyone's here.
Yep. Glad to be out of the holiday slump and just kind of back to regular scheduling.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back to the earlier scheduling as far as the 7 o'clock shows, but we had to do a 9 o'clock just because of a schedule conflict this week. We'll see how things work out in the future. I'll keep you guys up to date on that. So, how was your holidays to start off, everybody?
Oh man, it's been so long. Like, uh, um, I didn't really go anywhere, but I had a good time. So we all hang out. Still got some Armada in, got some Warhammer in. Mostly just hung out. I don't really ask for that kind of stuff for Christmas, so don't have a whole lot of hobby stuff to report on.
Yeah, had some family come in. Just hung out. It was good. Now I'm glad to be back to the old Armada grind. We got a lot of people locally headed to Worlds in March, so we'll talk about some of that. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, so holidays were nice. Because of our wedding and everything, we didn't travel for Christmas like we usually do. So it was nice to actually not stress about finding hotels and train tickets and having to drive. It was nice to sit home and just kind of enjoy the holidays with friends and take it easy for once. So
Yeah. Well, I originally had wanted to start with some talk about, what our plans might be for Adepticon, what was going on there. And we are going to get to that. But Garrett shared with us some information about the Las Vegas Open. And I just thought it might be appropriate to touch on that a little bit before we go too far today.
Yeah, so the Las Vegas Open was this weekend. A lot of good players go there. Everyone, I think 6 of the top 8 from Worlds participates because they all live in Alberta and California. So it's kind of local for them, local out west for people. So there's really good players, and so they came up with some really interesting lists. Radis won it. Patrick, he's our Tiger Cruise World Tour champion from a while ago. If anybody knows what that means. But anyways, he ran a home one MC80 as Radis, and then dropped from it an MC75, and then dropped from it Shriv Hammerhead. And he had a flag bridge on the MC80, which let him take intensify firepower for 1 turn. But he's got 3 ships shooting, so that's a possibility of 6 damage spike, right, from each arc. One from each arc, because you could do it each time you fire. And he went 3-0 on last day, and so that thing is a ship killer. Holy smokes! Because it drops all close range stuff, and then of course the MC80 itself is no slouch. As just the first gun to shoot, right? And then second place was also Radis. It was a MC75 and a CR90B, which dropped Radis. Not doing the whole overload pulse thing. It was just a Major Derlin ECM CR90, and then dropped off an MC75. And then, of course, it had Ruben's favorite 6 YT-2400s, and Lando, and Rogue Squadron. So that's where a lot of the damage comes from. But yeah, and then Mac, who's really, really good, and of course the guy in charge of Arc. I think this guy, could be wrong, but I'm guessing he is the Gorehold list, which is Grand Moff Tarkin as Empire, which is really funny. Whenever you see this, it's his was an Onager Star Destroyer and a Interdictor, so similar to Malador's Worlds list from a couple years ago, Onagers and Interdictors. So except with Grand Moff Tarkin instead of Ramadi. But yeah, it's cool stuff.
Now, we have all those lists posted on the Discord, so if anybody wants to check that out, you are welcome to join our Discord and look in the Armada builds section, and you'll be able to see all those lists.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Still seeing like innovation, right? Even before the last update. What is it, like October 205 now?
Yeah, for
getting
real.
dangerously close to Worlds. This could really mess the people up, practice-wise.
I'm hoping it won't change my list.
Might make it better. I don't know. You never know.
It's possible. I mean, speaking of that, I am going to Adepticon this year. Yay!
Yes.
So you'll actually see me around. I'll bring some streaming gear, but I don't know that I'll actually get to stream any games. But I may do some chats with some folks and do some end of day kind of streams and such.
Yeah,
that'd
should
be
be great.
cool.
Yeah, we've got a crew from Louisville going, and then three of us from Lexington right now going. Unless we can convince anybody else to come. Yeah.
And then a bunch of folks from Ohio too, right?
Yeah, I think there's like 10 people coming from Ohio.
Yeah.
Man, Santos is recruiting good out there. That's good.
Yeah, they have like 3 separate cities with like independent groups, which is pretty good.
So as for me, I am going to be there, and I am planning on playing in Worlds. I'm not sure how well I'll do. It'll be my first time in Worlds. Don't expect to make it very far, but I am going to work very, very hard on that. And then I'm also going to go ahead and try one of the 200-point builds on one of the days there, and see
Task
how
Force?
I can. Yeah, the Task Force build, and see how I can do on that. Which I need to come up with my build for that.
All right, you guys keep talking. I'm going to look up some info about Adepticon real fast.
Okay, sounds good. Now, you are not going to make it this year, are you, Ruben?
I'm not planning on attending now. Going to Nick's wedding pretty much put me at probably can cut this one this year.
Gotcha.
Along with all the drama around Armada. So hopefully I'll make it next year when we have a team that actually cares about the game when they do balance passes.
Yeah.
Considering how the ticket sales went, there's going to be Armada there next year. It's sold out in 30 minutes or something, Garrett?
Immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, it took 3 hours to sell 120 tickets.
So
And then they added more, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking up right now to see where we're at.
and I really enjoyed. I've been a war gamer since I was in high school. So going and seeing all the different stuff, all the different venues, the painting experience, the vendor hall, the other games played. I don't play just Armada; I play other games. So it's a huge celebration of a hobby that I've been a part of for pretty much the majority of my life now. It's weird to say that, but it's true. This has taken the place of RTS for me, and RTS has been a really impactful genre for me. I played a lot of Brood War as a kid.
Yeah.
To be able to play cool spaceships and play plastic spacemen and all that stuff, and meet all these people, and that's the thing about going to an event like this. You can meet people, and you'll have an immediate shared interest with them that you can talk about. So you're going to make tons of friends.
Yeah, I absolutely love going to conventions, and it'll be nice to hit this particular convention because I've never Never been to this one. I do enjoy war games. I enjoy tabletop games of all sorts. That's why I usually like to go to Origins. But this year it's going to be Adepticon. Origins is kind of too close to a family trip, so I won't be able to do that this year. And I've been having trouble getting people to go to Origins with me, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, Parker pretty much goes to Gen Con every year because it's like, what, a few hours up the road
away.
from us.
Yeah.
And that's just another one that's really, the vibe's different than Adepticon. Adepticon has a smaller vibe to it because, it's not a general gaming convention, so it's a smaller
Yeah.
venue because there's just less games going on.
And I appreciate that because I've been to Gen Con once, and it was a little bit too big for my taste, to be perfectly honest.
It's big.
It's gotten pretty out of control.
That's part of the reason why I like Origins.
Available.
Part of the reason why I like Origins better than Gen Con is just because they're very, very similar conventions. It's just Origins is a bit easier to digest.
Yeah.
Gen Con's
okay.
incredible, though. You can see everything.
So what I was looking up, I wanted to double check. I think we're at so we sold out initially, and then we got more tables, and we added I want to say 24 more seats. So that puts us at 150. I gotta say, if you like Armada, this is the Worlds to come to. It'll be the biggest one ever, by a long shot, and
That is so
it's gonna
surprising
be
given
nuts.
where we're at.
Yeah, I know Ruben said he doesn't want to go because of some of the stuff, but don't let that hold you back. The community's been doing this the whole time, so they're the ones driving this. This thing is going to be nuts. The amount of people coming is outrageous. Even stuff like Task Force, and then the teams and Sector Fleet are sold out, which is really unusual to see. I mean, there's going to be so many people playing Armada at this thing. And we're at 6x3 tables. So, and the coolest fact is, right now there's more people playing Armada than Star Wars Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol combined, which is pretty cool.
I would almost go just for the Sector Fleet.
The only downside Sector Fleet is on day one of the
Worlds.
Oh man!
Yeah.
So you can't play both?
No, you can't play both,
Yep.
which is a huge bummer. But there's people playing it anyways.
I would probably go for Sector Fleet. I mean, I did Worlds last year. It was great. I got to go, but Sector Fleet is such a fun way to play Armada, and you don't get as many opportunities to do it.
Yeah, and the prizes aren't gate kept, so you get tickets for any event that you sign up for, which is interesting.
Cool.
And they hand out participation cards and stuff too. So, it's gonna be wild. I think they might open up. I mean, there's already people on the wait list, so they might open up more seats. I mean, we might see 180 plus people participating.
Good number.
Which is
That's
crazy.
I'm unfortunately I'm also gonna be out. We're going doing a family trip right in March, right before. I just can't do 2 weeks back to back.
Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry. I'll put you in the closet. I got room. I'll take you. I just wish Asmodee would hear this and see this and take note, man. People want to play this game. People want to buy it. This is a huge message,
right?
This is a huge message.
Yeah.
As far as I understand, Adepticon is the largest solo wargaming convention on the planet. Right.
Yeah.
So it is the venue where you rep your product. If you're a wargaming designer, a wargaming creating company, Games Workshop is there every year, and they are the driving force of this hobby. And they're there every year, and it's one of their biggest overall hobby. Their teams event, the teams event at Adepticon for Warhammer is a renowned event that's been going on for a long time. So the fact that Armada has sold so well for this event when it's such a major event, I mean, they've got somebody has to be taking those somewhere.
For a discontinued game that hasn't received product in 5 years.
Yeah, that's something.
It's a really testament to the game. I mean, it's just
So I don't know. Hopefully something will come of it. Someone's got to see it, right? Someone's got to look at these numbers and be like, all right, let's research this.
I
You got to
Yes.
You
figure
would
something
think.
out. Like,
You
you'd
would
think between like, okay, well, like, yeah, the plastic ships are too expensive to produce. We got to do something else. Like, I mean, we're just asking for anything, right? At this point,
Yeah, the
if they
demand
were
is
to just
there.
say,
Raise the
yeah,
price.
yeah, people were paying $200 for
Yeah.
Star Destroyers. They're gonna charge 75, $80 for it if that's what it takes.
Yeah, charge 100. Charge Starhawk.
Yeah.
We saw what the market assigned the value to be, and it's in the multiple hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
So
And people were buying
you
it.
can
People
make
were playing
profit.
it. Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
So let us move on to the topic for the evening, and unfortunately, this is going to be an area where I probably don't have a lot of experience because I have never played Republic. So we are talking Republic officers, and there aren't a lot of them out there. So it may kind of give us some time to go back into some of these other topics here, but but first up is Adi Gallia. While defending, when you suffer damage from an attack, you may suffer up to 1 of that damage on the shields of a hull zone adjacent to the defending hull zone for each defense token you spent during the spend defense token step. If you do, suffer any remaining damage on the defending hull zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gallia, 3 points.
3 points, yes.
She's, and I want to say she's pretty good. I think the wording is a little, it's a little verbose. They probably, I don't know if there's a way you could trim that down, but basically, right, do we want to go through kind of what that's supposed to look like?
Well, I think
Yeah.
the biggest question that comes out of all of this is if you use a redirect token already, does that, because of the way this is worded, does that prevent you from redirecting any more than 1 damage?
Well, no, because it's going to be an additional effect.
Okay.
So let's say you're taking 4 damage into your front.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to spend your redirect token. You can move 3 damage off to one side, and then 1 damage off to the other side.
Okay.
Right? So you can split the 4 damage between 2 different shields, with one side being only 1. If you were to also spend, let's say you got 4 damage coming into the front. You want to spend a brace token, and you're going to spend a salvo token. Now you can move 1 damage to your left and 1 damage to your right, which you're bracing at a 2, 1 and 1, and then you get your salvo attack. So that's kind of how she's supposed to operate.
Yeah, so basically it makes if you spend a redirect token on like a consular, this is a good example. Like let's say Nick has a consular, it's got 2 shields on the front, 2 shields on the left and right, and you've got Adi Gallia on it. You shoot at it, you get 4 damage, and there's no brace. You evade fails, you get 4 damage to deal with. So you spent the evade, and now you spend your redirect. So you redirect the damage as normal, and then because you have Adi Gallia, you get to redirect 1 more to each side of the front. Because you spent an evade and a redirect.
Okay. And could
So-
you conceivably use that ability to send it to the same adjacent side?
Well, it's not the same. It's a separate thing. So, like, you redirected. Let's say you redirect 1. So now we've got 3 damage to deal with. We got 2 on the front, 1 on the right, 2 on the left. And now, because you added Gallia, you do 1 more on the right and 1 on the left. And then you just take 1 damage on the front.
I guess what I'm saying is there a situation in which you could actually, okay, you've spent 2 defense tokens, you've still got 2 damage coming through, you may not have shields on the left side, can you use ID to ability to send both of those damage to the right side?
No, you may suffer up to 1 of that damage on the shields of a whole zone. Up to 1. So just 1.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that has an interesting, I think, relationship with XI7s.
Yep.
Which also limits you down to 1. And I'm looking at this. I'm trying to think. Let's say let's say you have Obi-Wan as your commander. You have Adi Gallia, and you have getting shot with XI7s.
Sorry, my cat is deciding the desk is the place to be.
So you spend your redirect. Obi-Wan lets you reduce the damage by 1.
Yeah.
Adigalia will then let you take 1 damage on 1 hull zone, and then XI7 limits you to 1 damage per redirect. So even if you spend a second token, you still would only be able to take 1 damage in that whole zone? Do you think
So
that
you-
override?
So if you take 4 damage and you have Obi-Wan, and you spend 1 redirect token only,
Mhm.
then you would take the damage down from 4 to 3, and then you redirect 1 with the redirect token, and then Adigalia lets you do 1 more.
I am so
Yeah,
sorry for
100%.
my focus. I can't get this to refocus, so
you're
I'm
good.
just going to
And
be
then- so
blurry.
Essentially, so if you have Obi-Wan and spend 1 redirect token, you only take 1 damage on the front because you've dealt
Yeah.
with 3 of the damage by reducing it by 1 and sending 2 to the
And
right,
sending 2 away. Yeah.
even
Okay.
if they have XI7s.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure the XI7 says stipulates a redirect effect.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's specifically from the defense token redirect and not from Adigalia. Right.
And if you spent 2 defense tokens, like you could just spend a contain, and you don't need to. You just spend a
redirect.
contain and redirect it as well without
Gotcha.
wasting your evade token. Because nothing says you can't spend a contain.
That's what's interesting to me. The way it reads for Adigalia is that if you have XI7s and you spend 2 tokens, you could redirect 1 damage that you're limited to, but then Adigalia you may suffer up to 1 of that damage on the shields of a hull zone adjacent. So it could be a second damage on that same hull zone. Are you reading that the same way?
It says on the
Yeah.
shields.
Right.
So you have to have shields to suffer it.
Well, right, but let's say you're fresh, you've got 3 shields on the side, you can only redirect 1 from XI7s, but then Adi lets you suffer 1 more damage on that whole zone. Yeah, so
You
it lets you
could-
kind of get around that.
You could redirect and then salvo and then
Yeah.
move 2 to the sides after
Yeah.
your 1 redirect from XI7.
So that's pretty nice. I mean, especially in our local meta, we've been seeing a lot of XI7s popping up. People are really,
Guilty as charged.
yeah, I mean, I do it too.
Yeah. She's just kind
people
of
really.
she's in a spot that's very competitive.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think she's very
Primary
good.
issues
Just based on everything that we've said here, I would at least say an A.
I don't know if I'd give her an A. I'd probably give her a passing grade.
I'd give her a B.
I'd probably give her a B only because she's 3 points, which is very cheap.
Mhm.
Very cheap. If you're running like spam C70s with like Anakin, well, she can go on one of those, and it doesn't really cost you much.
Hmm.
She's, there's only typical GAR fleets only have 3-ish activations, maybe 4, depending. So you've only got 3 seats for officers, and we're going to talk to about some other officers later that are really, really important to keep that Venator on target, and you see them way more often than Audi. And if you're going to put her on something that's going to be tanky and it's a typical fleet like the Venator 2, you're way more likely to see Tranquility, who's going to do a similar effect at a less limited timing.
Okay.
So you see you see Tranquility instead of her.
Next up, we've got Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah, so Ahsoka Tano, 6-point officer card. I love this card. I have a lot of fun with it. You have to do a squadron command, so either command dial or token to activate her. And each of up to the 3 non-unique squadrons you activate gain Snipe 1 for each die in their anti-squadron armament to a maximum of Snipe 3 until the end of its activation. This card is really fun to use. Specifically, I like to use it with ARC 170s because they're slow. I slap Expanded Hangar Bays on a Pelton Medical Frigate, and now it has a command value of 3. I activate my ARC 170s, and because they have 2 blues and a red to shoot anti-squadrons, they now have Snipe 3. So my Speed 2 ship now can start fighting while it slowly chugs across the field. Yeah, no, it's really, yeah, it's just a cool card. You can do that to like V19s. It's not great with Y-Wings because they only have the blue-black. But V19s and ARC 170s, this card combines great with. I love her. She's not meta. I'll say that. It's not. It's not meta. I'll give her a solid B. I'll give her a B minus.
It's not meta.
But it's really funny to do to people.
How does the wording with flight controllers work with her? Would you add it after the snipe?
You would get to add the flight controllers because it's add a die.
Right. So it'd be snipe 4 effectively.
Yeah.
Taserface is saying, "Do it with Navuda Bay, and those arcs get swarm."
Yeah. Nuvida Bay. So if you take the acclimator with the title, now you're and if you I think you can put flight controllers on that acclimator, an acclimator 1, and then you have swarm now with snipe 4, and it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you got weapons team on the acclimator, both acclimators.
Yeah, and then drop Deltakin afterwards.
I guess there's a build that this is for, but I don't know that I would be the one to fly it.
That's fun. I mean, I have a list that I fly with it. It's
okay.
Every single time, it's fun. I always get my Armada 70 snipes.
You're our resident guard player, so it's all going to be us asking you what you think.
All right, so next we have Barlas O'Fay. While defending, after the attacker declares the defending hull zone, you may spend 1 redirect token. If you do, at the start of the resolve damage step, choose a different hull zone to be the defending hull zone for this attack, and it is a 6-point card.
Barris Offie, right? Butchering my girl's name here.
Hey. I suck, okay? No, I did watch Clone Wars. I really did. I watched all of it. I loved it.
I like just so I know, my Barris Offie is Legends multimedia project. Okay. MedStar, 2 great books. Read them. MedStar, fantastic. MASH in the Clone Wars. That's what those books are. All right. Anyways, Barris Offie, she's Tranquility on a ship that you don't have a Venator. So you can put her on an acclimator, and all of a sudden you have Tranquility with extra steps. It's kind of what this card is. It's exactly what it says. You spend a redirect token, and they're shooting your rear. Like, nah, bro, you're shooting my front, and then that's it. Easy peasy. Again, this is a card to put on an acclimator, or put on a Pelta, especially those Peltas that take 2 officers. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah, she's okay. Yeah.
I feel like 6 points is a little bit expensive.
Yeah, it's not cheap. Compared to some other generic officers.
It's also interesting because the timing of this is while defending after the attacker declares the defending hull zone. Yeah. So you can actually redirect the entire attack before any accuracies can lock you down or any kind of shenanigans like that. It's as soon as an attack is declared, they declare the defending hull zone, and then you spend the redirect token, and you choose the defending hull zone, basically.
Yeah, it's another way to get around accuracies, kind of like thermal shields. You're like, you can't lock this down. Sorry, I'm going to use it.
Into officer, same
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. You just don't have a lot of shields on your auxiliary sides of your ships in guard to really get good value out of this. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess this is meant if somebody gets to your flank and you're pumping it to the front, then.
Yeah, but a lot of Republic ships are so front facing. If somebody's getting into your side like that, you're kind of already passing.
Well, yeah, it's a tough one to find a place for. Acclimators are really my best because acclimators have low shields on the side. I think it's 4 on the front, 2 on the sides. So if somebody does shoot your side, you can be like, all right. If on the ship that doesn't have Implacable, you can put Barris Offie on. Because Implacable's the one that lets you reduce damage to the front. And so you put this on your, sister acclimator, and then they also can find a way to not get hit in the side. And basically, if you're getting shot in the side that the enemy's on, use Barris Offie to make it go into the side the enemy's not on. That way you keep your shields on the front, and you just take those shields off the side that's getting shot.
Auxiliary shield teams battle Pelta.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
then it has
this-
3 all over the place, and you can just redirect to your other 3, and then you just keep charging up all your shields with your Ox Shield teams.
Yeah.
So,
Put
I mean,
TB-73 on there. Then you get 2 evades, brace, and then Barris off. It's pretty good.
It's only a shot harder. It won't die, but it won't kill anything.
Yeah.
So would you say this is a C?
Yeah. Yeah, I put it C.
I think, yeah, I'd say C just because there are, like, the Republic has so many other options, and there aren't, like we've kind of discussed, it's hard to find a ship that really wants her.
Yeah. Well, next we've got Clone Captain Silver.
Who am I reading this?
You can read this one.
Stand by.
We'll just
These are
take
all
turns
you,
there.
Eric.
Oh, whoops. Oh, I opened up Zach. Oh. Why can't I open it? All right. Clone Captain Silver. 4 points. Amazing deal. Okay. He starts with a nav token on his card. Just already good. Okay. When you execute a maneuver during your determined course step, if you have not resolved a nav command during this activation, you may exhaust this card to increase or decrease your speed by up to 3. If you
Jeez.
do, you cannot resolve a nav command during this activation. You can spend tokens from this card to ready it. So you get 2 free uses. 2 free uses with this card. Clone Captain Silver is amazing.
Oh, good.
I'm in an intimate relationship with this card when I'm not using Bail Organa because I put it on my Venator and I can just haphazardly go from speed 1 to speed 3 to speed 2. It's so good. It's so good to get me out of a pickle. This is listen. This is an S tier Republic card.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish I could have this card in Rebels.
Yeah, it would be super. I mean,
Yeah, I would love. I mean,
Having
the
this in
closest thing I
Rebels would
think
be
we have,
broken.
like Empire has Commander Ozzel, and we have the Grand Inquisitor, I guess.
yeah. So Nick flies a lot of shenanigans with speed control, and I love when I happen to play him on nights where I have a Clone Captain Silver Venator, because he'll drop me to speed 1. I'll be like, no. I'm
You're
still
speed
speed 3.
Well, you're still speed 2.
Oh.
Yeah, it's frustrating when I spend all my tractor beams to slow you down, and you just go, "Hey, I'm just gonna go 3 again." I'm like,
I mean, that just goes back to the basic principle that I have had in just about every war game that I have been involved in, and that is movement is life.
it is, yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. That's why navigate's the most important command.
100%. And anything that boosts it is good, except for
good.
Nav Team. There's no room for Nav Team for some reason. That poor officer.
That's also why Admiral Constantine will
at it.
never be as good as he should be because they can't break the game that much.
Yeah.
So next
I
up,
look
we've
at my
got
Liberty's nav chart, and I look at nav team, and I go, if only.
Only had 2 officer slots.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Clone Captain Zach. While attacking from your side or rear hull zones, you may exhaust this card to add 1 die to your attack pool of a color already in your attack pool. You cannot add dice to a salvo attack. You can spend tokens from this card to ready it. It is a 5-point card.
It starts with a Confire token. Takes a
Yes.
Confire token to ready it. This is also a card I'm in a side relationship with as well.
It's a new relationship.
I freaking love this card. I always use it on my Svat Venators because it's just adding another black die at a close range fast shot is amazing. But recently I've been flying a C-70 with the 10-point enhanced armament and Clone Captain Zach. And it's been great. I've been chucking 5 red dice at that thing and just doing massive numbers.
I was not
opponents.
prepared for that night when you did like 7 damage to me on a side shot out of a C-70.
Did it twice. I did it twice to your Quasar too. That was amazing.
Yeah, that
He also
Quasar never had a
picked me
chance.
while I was down with it too, so he's really being a bully with this one.
Yeah.
The Akbar CR90 power has gone straight to his head. He can't be controlled.
Yeah. Well, I also put Swift Return on it, so now I can turn like a CR90 and shoot like an Akbar. It's been a lot of fun.
It's a good ship.
Yeah.
And the pure cackling glee that shows up on Garrett's face when he just zips around and drives by me. I just shut my brain off because it's a CR90. I've been shot by this. I know what's going on here.
Yep.
But he's just having a joyride of his life over there. There's nothing like childhood joy.
Oh yeah, I put more damage with Clone Captain Zack and Enhanced Armament on your Liberty than I double from my vendor did.
It was bad.
And one thing I do want to mention, and this is pretty obvious, but if somebody's like listening, they're new to it. This does stack with Concentrate Fire. It's a completely additional effect, even though you have the Confire icons on the card. So you can Confire, add a die, then Zack, add a die, and then refresh Zack with a token that comes on him to do it again next turn.
So, I guess another question that I would have, though, is with the timing on this, if there were something that would give you an additional black die, say your normal shot does not have a black die, but something gives it to you, and I don't know what that is in the Republic. Swivel mounts, okay. Swivel mounts, okay. Then, after using the swivel mounts, you tap him, and you can add another black. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And make it worse. You can swivel in a black, Zack in a black, Confire
in a black.
And do that at long range.
Yep.
And you shoot Garrett's ship with the APTs when you just did this, and then you draw the projector missile line on him.
That's right. Drop your Liberty from 5 to 0.
Yep.
Yeah, Clone Up Zack, S tier. I love him. He's so good.
He's very good.
It's
very
adding
solid.
the dice of any color is what puts him into S zone.
Yeah.
Being able to throw blacks at long is anytime you can do that is just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So next up we have Clone Commander Wolf.
Our excitement is ended.
Yep. Here we go.
Man, I wish. All right. Before we read this card, when LAT gunships are in this dumb game at some point, I'm going to go Fortunate Sunning all over the whole tournament scene with this. It's too cool.
Yep.
Give me the LATs. Come on.
I really hope to see some more interactions with Assault. I feel like of any faction, the Republic needs to have like a lot of synergy with the Assault keyword, right? We all know the LAAT gunship is going to have Assault because that's what it is. And this, Wolf is another card. Like if you have something like either a commander or just like a type, like just something. We need some kind of tech that plays off of raid tokens so that you can run an Assault Gar like squad ball.
So
the period needs more boarding trooper cards.
I'm going to be honest. I honestly do not know what the Assault keyword does, so we probably ought to touch on that.
Yeah, so Assault is the thing that lets you spend a hit on a I want to say it's blue die. You spend a hit.
It's any die.
Is it any die? Any die, and you can assign a raid token of your choice to the enemy ship.
It's a squadron keyword.
It's a squad keyword, so it's always.
Yeah.
Right now we only see it on the Mandalorian Gauntlet fighter. I think Kanan Jarrus in the Rebels.
Kanan Jarrus and Rao.
I need to see more Assault then.
Yeah, it's not common in squads. And in generic Mandalorians.
Yeah, it's hard because a lot of single die ships, like you're throwing your die and then spending it to do a raid token that your opponent can just say like, oh, I'm gonna ignore that or clear it with basically no consequence, because unless you have a lot of raid shenanigans, your opponent's not in any pressure to discard a raid token unless they really need to. And if you have a lot of raid shenanigans, then you're stacking raid. They're just gonna say, I'm just discarding command dial and turning off all your tech.
Yeah. Now I will say, this card's not totally used. It can still give Assault to non-adept ships, so they can do the normal thing. But you can't do the really neat thing of getting Assault on a hit or an accuracy, because
we need to read the card. We haven't gone through that yet.
Have we not read it? Oh, I've read it so many times.
We started talking about it. We just started
I
talking about
jumped
it.
straight to LAT gunship. I couldn't
I'm sorry.
contain myself.
Clone Commander Wolf. Clone Commander Wolf, everybody, apologies. He starts with a squadron token. He exhausts, he's 6 points. Alright, so when you resolve a squadron command, you may exhaust this card. If you do, each of up to 3 squadrons that you activate without Adept, so Deltas and all the Jedi, gain Assault until the end of its activation. And then the next part, each squadron that you activate with the printed Assault keyword can spend a die with a hit or accuracy icon to resolve the Assault effect. However, there are no squadrons in GAR that have the Assault keyword, so this part of the card is totally useless. You can spend tokens from this card to ready it. I think when they made this card, this is a printing error. This is a printing error. I am almost certain.
I don't
it was
understand.
not supposed to say printed.
I don't understand why they would give him the ability to give Assault and then in the next sentence immediately say, oh, but these squadrons don't get the benefit from this effect.
Right. So you still can activate 3 squadrons to give them Assault, but then they can only resolve it with a hit, which is okay. But also in Republic, there's nothing to capitalize with raid tokens generally. You almost always want to attack. The only thing that could be useful with this is Arc 170s generally. And you're already a double bomber. Like, you want to get the damage in, so who cares about this?
It's just a weird keyword in general, because you're always in a position where you're trading damage to put a raid token on somebody. And in most cases, the raid token is not as valuable as the damage. Really, we don't have...
Separatists want this.
Separatists want Assault, yeah.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of factions that, like, really play with raid in a interesting... Separatists do it the most, but it's still mostly about changing their raid into damage.
Well,
I think like the design philosophy behind that is that raid is ultimately just a negative play experience for your opponent, and Armada doesn't have a lot of those. They really pull their punches when it comes to like messing with your opponent's ability to play the game.
Yeah, but I say that because really, honestly, a separatist fleet that is running vultures, just vultures as kind of a screen to prevent other folks from, more as a speed bump. If they have a moment where they've got nothing else that those squads are doing, then they may want to go ahead and fire, and if they had Assault, it would be awesome. They would absolutely love it. But the point is moot because this is not a card for Separatists. So.
Right. Yeah, we need to see more things that allow you to, like, when a ship's attacking a ship with a raid token, you can reroll up to 2 dice or something, or like, we just need to be able to do, or like a commander that's like when your opponent discards a command dial, they can only discard all but 1 raid token, so they still have to keep 1 on. There needs to be some other mechanic with raid in order to make Wolf have some kind of like consequence, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm gonna say D tier.
Yeah, until we see something new.
I'm dumping him F tier.
I think he's the worst.
Incomplete.
Yeah,
that's
an incomplete. Actually falls into F for me. So yeah.
I don't think it was a printing error. Personally, I think they absolutely planned to do laps and everything else, and then got donezoed. So
100% possible. But then I also want to say it's F tier, even for the one thing it can do, because the factions that can bring Assault squadrons don't even bring them.
Yeah.
So it's useless.
Yeah, the first time we ever saw Gauntlet fighters on the table was playing Rebellion in the Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we finally have Clone Navigation Officer. It is 4 points. You exhaust it. It starts with the nav token on there. When you reveal a Concentrate Fire, Nav, or Squad command, you may exhaust this card to choose a friendly ship at distance 1 to 5. That ship may gain 1 command token matching your command. You can spend tokens from this card to ready it.
And any token readies this
Any
card.
token will ready it. Yes.
I don't know. Listen, the S tier card. This card's phenomenal. I have to have one of these in my fleet, and it makes raid not a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is basically what it does.
Definitely.
The coolest thing about this, unlike CommsNet, is I can resolve, take a token, resolve, and not take a token, and I still get to send a free token, at distance 5 from this ship. It's so good.
And I mean,
very
it goes on a ship that is not a support ship. You know, you can do this on something that you want, not necessarily your primary attacker, of course, but something that is not really necessarily geared to support is now becoming a support ship for you.
You could.
You can do this on you can run victories with Svats and feed each other tokens, because you're getting your Confire to get your own token to replace your Svat, and then send another one to your other victory, or however you want to Rube Goldberg your machine up.
My favorite way is I put CNO on a C70, and you can run a bear, just bear.
Yeah.
A lot of people put Mercy Mission on it, but you could put a clone like this. You could put a CNO, clone navigation officer, with parts resupply or munitions resupply on the same ship with Radiant 7 or on a Pelta, and now you're pushing those tokens, taking a token to refresh parts resupply, but also sending an additional token out from that same ship. So that ship is sending 2 tokens to multiple ships potentially, and either taking a token for itself or resolving a full command. This card is really powerful.
Yeah. Very good.
And 4 points is pretty cheap.
Yeah. The only command it doesn't work with is Repair. It's the only token you can't send out. So it's for Confire, Nav, and Squadron.
Yeah, but if you pair it with
Parts resupply.
Parts resupply, and then all of a sudden you have the ability to do anything.
Yeah, it's so good. And you can take multiple of these. It's not a unique. You can slap a whole fleet of Peltas with this thing and just cause chaos.
Yeah. No, I love it.
There's not a lot to say. It's just, damn, that's good.
It's great.
Yep.
So you said S tier?
Oh, yeah. For sure. Is that all of the Republic officers?
That is it for the Republic officers. Yeah, there's not a lot there.
Not too many. Some good ones, some less than good ones.
Well, really only one that I would define as bad.
Yeah. And really, like we said, there could be future cards that make him okay, unlike some other really bad officers in like Republic or Empire and Rebels that you just never see, no matter what they'll give to the game.
Are you trying to say Zane Izard is not useful?
I'm just saying I can look at my opponent across the table, and I don't need an officer slot to tell me what my opponent is lining up in their command dials.
Everybody knows what I do.
I'm trying to pick
And I
out
don't
the
try to
worst
hide it.
Rebel one. Man, Rebels have
I think a
some
lot of
banger
these
officers, actually.
are
What are we doing, Rebels,
officers.
Chris?
Well, we can do it in 2 weeks if you want, but it's going to be a long show.
There's a lot of them.
15,
Well, but then
15
again,
Rebel officers.
Then again, there's a lot of Imperial officers too. So
I'm psyched.
Yeah, those are good
I
shows.
got a lot of opinions about Imperial officers.
There's some
I
real
would
turds
not imagine why
in
you
Empire.
would. I mean, it's not like you play
Real bad
Empire
ones.
ever.
The Rebels only have one, like, kind of meh one, is I think. Just Krista Agate. Everything else is, like, usable. Love it. Love it.
Are you kidding me?
No.
We got a few minutes left in this episode. You guys want to hash this out real quick?
There are absolutely bad ones in there. It's not just Krista. Okay?
Bro, you don't got no Zane Izard. All right?
That's not even a card. Who cares that it got printed? It doesn't exist.
Director Izard.
Oh
That's
man,
She was 1 point. She'd be a chokeable for Vader.
Yeah. How many
She's
points is she?
chokeable now?
Three?
Who cares?
3? Yeah.
That's chokeable.
It's crazy I even knew that off the top of my head. I've never run her.
is Wayne Brady gonna have
That
to?
makes her better. That makes her better than my, like, what? it's like
To be honest, Ruben, I'm scrolling through Rebels right now. I don't know.
Yeah, they're fine. They're all fine, except for Krista Agate. It's kind of meh.
I would say even Wedge has like you could do something with him.
Yeah, Wedge is a cool ability.
Yeah.
Now going back to
stuff.
Going back to our Adepticon talk, there was one thing that I had forgot to mention that I'm going to be involved in, and I kind of still need to get some more information on it just so that I make sure to set things up correctly, which is the team competition.
Yeah, you're on a team.
Yes, I am on a team. I'm just not entirely sure how the teams are set up and everything. So,
yeah, you got to have at least 3 factions, and you're not restricted to uniques across the team.
Okay.
Am I missing anything, Ruben?
You have to have at least 3 factions. Uniques are locked to player. Like commanders are locked to player. Right? At least that's how it was last year.
But if you're playing 3 different factions, then I mean, uniques and
it's a 4-player.
You can have you can have 2 people of the same faction.
Yeah, I don't know if they're locked this time. I could be wrong. Ruben could be right. He did the team one last year.
2 teams.
And then the pairing stuff is really interesting, but we can talk about like tangentially, strategically. I really enjoyed teams play. It was the only side of it I did last year. It's super fun to play. You put out I mix it up with Warhammer games tournaments. They work kind of the same. But basically, you put out one of your commanders, they put out 2 defenders, you pick like which pairing goes into each other, and then it goes down through 3 players, and then the last 2 players are like the 2 players that are left, so it's always a surprise. And then the team winning is based off of who does the best differential combined. So like you get in a lot of situations where at like higher levels of play with more experience in the teams format, which is somewhere that I really hope I would like to see Armada grow in, is like playing the teams format competitively, because from all the stuff I hear from like the Warhammer sphere, it's a much more interesting, enjoyable way to play the game. It becomes more balanced in the end because it's not just me bringing whatever thing I'm bringing to target this meta. It's how do we make 4 lists that cohesively address what we expect to see out of everyone else making 4 lists that cohesively address stuff.
A full fleet.
So you get into a lot of like micro pairing stuff. It's an enjoyable format, and like it's just fun to shoot ships, So, and you've got 4 people on your team, and when one of them goes, "Oh man, I got my ass kicked," you're like, "Oh, shit, bro." And then your other 2 people come back and like, "We blasted them," and it's high fives all around. So it's not just you having to deal with whatever you did right or wrong. You got people carrying you. You're picking up your buddies that are getting shot by CR90s and stuff, right? So it's a more camaraderie experience to go out as a team and like try to.
And in teams, you're like rewarded for 6-5s, like on average. It's like better to get a 6, than try and risking even for a 7. Because if all of you get 6s, the way the numbers add up, right? That's the same as somebody getting a 10 and a 2 on the same team.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I think this is going to be the point to close up the show for tonight. So I want to thank you guys for joining me again, and we will be back in 2 weeks.
Love it.
You got it.
Are we really going to do Rebels? Because I can get my notebook ready.
We are. I will commit to it now. We will do Rebels.
Oh, no.
All right.
The 2-hour episode.
It's going to be long.
We can do it in 1 as long as we don't dilly-dally.
Yeah.
I'll prepare my legal defense for how many bad officers there are.
Okay. I'm with Garrett on this. I scrolled through them. There are not that many bad Rebel officers. I've seen pretty much all of them in play. So
we haven't done generic officers, right?
No.
And that's where we're going to see a lot of the.
Now that is majority dumpster F tier.
Yeah, I was thinking about same with Empire. I was thinking all the officers I never use, and I was like, yeah, but they're not faction. They're just generic. So yeah, I think it'll be all right.
All right. Well, you guys have a good night, and I will see you on Thursday.
2 weeks
See
to
ya.
prepare my opening statement. It's good.
Take
All right,
care,
bye, guys.
guys. All right, so thanks for watching the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed everything. Looking forward to giving you Thursday Night Armada coming up this Thursday. Not sure who we're going to feature on that match, but since I was on the last one, I probably will not be on this next one. I'm going to be tweaking my build a bit because I was playing something that was, kind of an experiment, and now I'm trying to get a little bit more prepared for Worlds, so I'm going with a few more meta type changes to it. But with that being said, we will also have last week's Thursday Night Armada up on YouTube here in the next few days. At some point, I'm going to get a chance to edit that and get that up. We will also go ahead and have this posted up on YouTube, which if you're watching it on YouTube, hey, guess what? It's already there. On top of that, we will also have the latest edition of the SWOTR Adventures on there. So look for that. And on Sunday, we will do the live stream of the SWOTR Adventures. So got a lot coming up. Glad to have you guys with us. If there's any Star Wars gaming that you would like to see on here, let me know. I am looking to expand a little bit, but I'm trying to be careful because I do have limited amount of time, which is why some of these edits take a little while to get up onto YouTube. If you want to see the list from the Las Vegas Open, again, go ahead and join the Discord. Check it out. There are links to the Discord on Twitch, on YouTube, on the Facebook page. So join the Discord and you can see the list from the Las Vegas Open, give you some interesting information going into Worlds. With that, I will say good night to everybody. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. I will see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.